Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and here we are here with an Adorama Pix rapid fire critique. Not even sure what number we're up to right now, but as you can see, I've got a new light. I have a video light from Westcott that came in that I'm really happy with. It has a big well, not a huge softbox, but a nice softbox that sits above my desk and above my computer and makes me lit, which is good. Not like lit drunk, but lit with light, which is good. So here we have the rapid fire critique, and I'll just say it right up front. If you'd like to submit your images for the Adorama Pix rapid fire critique, just go over to FroKnowsPhoto.com and let me get back to the main section of the web page, and then you can go right here, submit photos. And then it shows you exactly what you need to do. Just follow those directions and you can maybe be selected to get your photos critiqued right here. So here we go. Let's get into this. So this is from ENR Photography. This photo is superb. This is an extremely sharp, tight image, processed very well, taken very well. I like the composition a lot. I like how the maybe a little more to the left, but I wouldn't change too much. This looks really good. You got the kid's eyes, which isn't the easiest to do when you have the a mask on because the light's coming underneath. Now the background isn't blown out too much, and I was looking at the EXIF data from this before, Nikon D3000, and it was taken at 400 ISO at f8. This is one of those things where even at 48 millimeters, if this was an 18 to 55, I don't see the lens again listed down here. Not sure why. I'm looking, and I don't see it. So I'm going to assume that it's the 18 to 55 lens, unless anybody else sees it here. Nope. I'm going to assume that it's the 18 to 55 lens taken at f8. Now there's multiple things that you could do here. If you want to get the background to blow out even more, you can obviously drop that to probably 5.6 is the lowest it would go with the 18 to 55. The fact that they're zoomed out to 48 millimeters out of 50 or 55 is good. If you want to blow the background out even more, the further you zoom in with those lenses, the more the background's going to blow out. And I mean, like, you can take a step back, zoom in, and compose the frame exactly the same. You have a better chance of blowing the background out shooting at a longer focal length than you do at a wider, because when you're wider, everything expands opposed to compressing at a longer focal length. So we'll move on from this, but I like this shot a lot. This is really, really strong. So then we move on to this. This is a flower. We've got the spot color thing. I'm not a huge uber-duber fan of spot color, where you take out the black, you take out the color from certain things but leave the other. Now this was cool back in the 1900s and the 20s, 30s, and things like that, when they would literally use oil paints and paint color into black and white images. That was cool. Nowadays it's a little overdone, but we'll move past that and just look at the image. It's a nice sharp image. I love the way that you can see the raindrops on the flowers. The pink pops well. The yellow looks very good. It's a very sharp image. Let's see what this one was taken with. D3000 again, and this was taken 240 millimeters, which, wow, what lens is this? At 5.3. What would you think would be a 70 to 300 or something? I guess it doesn't list it from this camera. Oh well, I like this image a lot. So basically what they did is they zoomed in to give you a nice tight shot, and I like this. The only thing I don't like about it is the spot color. In the future, if you did have a macro lens, I would maybe try to fill the frame vertically a little bit. Vertical, like about this, what I'm looking through my See the World frame, and just try to get that one flower in there. Or I like that this flower's here on the right hand side out of focus. If you shifted the angle a little bit, if you could, and use this out of focus area over here to draw you into this one, it could add a different dimension to it. Same thing, spot color, we can do without it. I think it just totally detracts from the image. Instead of my focus going to the eyes, my focus is going right here to this bow that's pink and red, and that's too much. That's over the top. It's not, there's nothing particularly wrong with the photo the way it's taken. I think that the clarity was pushed too far, too much sharpening, too much clarity. It should be much softer. The highlights and the tones are a little too on the hard side for me. But also, I probably wouldn't use this image because it's not the kid isn't smiling and things like that, and it just doesn't look that interesting. And that's just being straight up honest with the critique. If we were putting together a portfolio, I wouldn't use this image right here. Squirrel! I like squirrels in images. This is nice. It's nature. The background's blown out. It looks like it's cropped a little bit, because we're losing a little bit of quality. You see some of the loss of quality right here, but it's a squirrel picture. It's nature. It's good. The colors are nice. Not too much else to talk about that one in there. Okay, so we've got a creative crop going on here, which is cool, which is fine. I don't know if I like the creative crop in this one. I kind of want to see a little bit more of the image, because right now it's just, she's squatting. She's right in the middle of the frame. Maybe if there were some leading lines and you could see, on a different angle, if you came to the side slightly and rotated and then had threw her off onto the right-hand side for the rule of thirds, that could have added to it. The processing's much better on this one. I like it. It's just, I'm losing a little bit here with this creative crop. It's just like, get a little closer, fill the frame, and I think it would be a stronger image. But, what you captured here is good. Just build upon that. I mean, I'm going to look through here and be like, yep, that's going to be a better image. And if I pull back like this and just, if it was taken like this, boom, here, and here. I wish I could draw a box on here. Maybe Chrome does let me, but I don't know where that is. But yeah, if you drew the composition box right here, that would be a much better composition, I think, for this particular image. Lightning shot. Lightning shots are interesting. They're boring at the same time. This is cool to capture a huge lightning strike like this. It's good, but what you lose down here, you get these houses, you get all these things. It just looks like it was shot outside of a window, out of a window at a house and things like that. It's not the easiest thing to capture because you don't know when it's going to happen. Tips for people doing this: put it on bulb, pre-focus somewhere at a distance. I don't like to shoot at infinity because go to infinity and then pull back a little bit, because I feel that when you set it to infinity, it just misses focus altogether on things that you really, really want. But when it comes to these lightning shots, they're more difficult, and I wouldn't put this in a portfolio either, because it's just, it's cool, but then it's like, there's not much to it. Okay, here we go. Right off the bat, again, it's a little too heavy-handed on the clarity, and that may be because that the image isn't sharp. It's probably focused right here on this gap, and it's missing the eye right here. So yeah, you want to try to focus in on the eye, and when you try to correct for out-of-focus things or where focus missed, you can kind of tell when you try to pump up the contrast or pump up the clarity levels and the sharpness. You kind of lose. Well, you can tell, and it kind of takes it away from it a little bit. And also just cutting off the arm a little bit. There's a little bit of extra room here to shift it. It's just a minor thing when it comes to composition. When you're looking through the frame, just make sure you're looking through. You leave yourself enough room. Check the edges of the border. I mean, that's what I do. When I'm looking through the frame, I'm checking the edges all the time to make sure that I'm not cutting things off. Or if I cut it off in one and I notice it and I go, darn it, I recompose and I capture it. Now, you can't do that every time. But if you train yourself to see that, you won't take those other pictures, and you'll train yourself to get the proper composition. This is good. I like this a lot. You've got the cars running that way. You've got the cars running that way. You've got a little bit of panning here. Either he's panning his camera by moving this way, or he's in another moving vehicle. I like the colors of the sky. I like the colors of the cars. You've got a bright orange car here. You've got a white one here. You got a red one here. This is a really nice image. This I could see building upon in a book. We've got a lot of different images here, all different types of styles, but I really like this one. This is a nice job on that. Oop, don't want to hit the play button. Want to go to the next one. We've got the nature shot we're throwing in here. I would try to focus in a little tighter on the waterfall itself, cutting off a lot of this dead space over here, these rocks, this tree sticking out, these leaves right here that are just popping into the frame. Just focus in on a tighter area. Like, I like the green right here. So if you just went boom, boom, maybe did a vertical from this rock to this rock to this rock, and that could maybe give you an interesting composition. Right now it's just, hey, look, there's a waterfall, there's a creek in the image, and that's about it. It doesn't have much dimension, but if you come in tighter with the waterfalls, and I see what's going on. We're at a much longer exposure here to get the water to start to blur. We probably have a high aperture. Yep, f/16, slow shutter speed. So definitely trying something cool here. That's what's going to happen. High aperture, slow shutter speeds. You're going to, on a tripod, you're going to get this water to start to cloud over to give it that feel. But I would come in tighter with the composition and try to find something of interest in the frame, because right now it's a little too wide. I'd like to see a little bit tighter. Okay, all right. So I guess this is an attempt at HDR. I don't particularly mind what's going on here, but I will just point out a few things. You totally lose all the contrast and all the detail. Well, you lose all the contrast here in all of these things when you pump the fill light in here. As you can see, it just looks like it's fading away because the fill light bumps in there, and you're just, it doesn't pop out as much. I would like to see this without the HDR, without the clouds looking so fake, because it takes on that fake look. I think that the details of this would really be interesting if we brought the fill light back down, pumped up the contrast, and then, worried about the sky separately. But you can see here, it's just like they cut it out in one picture and popped it into the other. So, be very careful with this, because look at the glowing edges around this. You can really tell that there was a lot of processing done. And that's when you start to run into trouble in your images, when it's too heavy-handed on the processing. Too much contrast, which I do a lot myself, but that's my style for that. But when there's too much clarity thrown in and too much sharpness, the images take on that look that it's too much is done to it. And that's for me. If I look at an image and it seems like there's way too much, it's over the top, and I can tell that it's over the top and processed, then I would think about pulling back in the future. So that's my recommendation for a lot of this. There's a lot of close stuff. We'll go back through this. This is really good. I like the angle. I like what's going on. We talked about that. This we talked about coming in with a different composition, filling the frame a little bit more. We got the squirrel. We got this. We're looking for a different expression on the child, not trying to get away with gimmicks like the spot color, because they are gimmicks, and they just they don't always work. They come off a little too amateurish, and when you're trying to move up and do all that type of stuff, then you want to look into being more just coming across as less gimmicky. Let the image sell the story. Sell the story, not tell the story, or a little bit of both. Let it tell the story and sell the story. Let the image carry the person's imagination. In this case, I think it's trying too hard. Plus, we talked about it's a little over the top on the contrast and the clarity button. But I love this shot a lot. I would just get away from the gimmick on the spot color again, but we love this. I love the clarity on this one, and this is the best image of the group. I really would like to see some more tighter shots altogether, filling the frame a little more. I would like to see a whole photo story on baseball or on the flowers, or do a whole story on just one thing. So find those 10 images. And if you guys would like to send a photo story of 10 images, you can go back to froknosphoto.com and you could submit them right here under rapid fire critique, and I would be more than happy to go through all of them and give a critique, an honest critique like this. This isn't meant to be harsh. This is meant to be straight up honest, so that you get a better representation, so that you basically can get some pointers to take your images to the next level. This image is great. If we saw like 9 more different variations of this, portraits of different people in your life, different scenes, or if you're at the baseball game and you shoot this shot, then do a tight shot of some of the baseball equipment. Try to look for the things behind the scenes and build upon that. So I would build upon the success of this shot and this shot and keep going. And let's see what you get. So, Ian, thank you very much for submitting these images. And that is about it for the rapid fire critique. And we will see you the next time. Jared Polin, froknowsphoto.com. See ya.